Reporters Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to her Panwo TV. Well, it's Monday morning now, and another pro conference is over. Now, I'm not feeling the kind of post-pro blues this time as much as I did before, because basically a lot of the people who I normally see there were not there. So I can't really miss them. You know, there's no Ellis, like I said, no Ben Fairhall. There's no Gene and Rachel. You know, none of the other guys were there. People I know. No Dennis and Marion. It's been a rather strange. It's been a rather strange conference without them. You know, missing something. It's pity, really. One good thing was we went out for a drink last night. There were no bouncers on the doors. And if you read my report on the Panwo blog from the last conference, you'll know that I was a bit upset because there were bouncers everywhere. You know, and there shouldn't have been, really. You know, they shouldn't. St Anne's is not a town that needs bouncers. You know, there was just some law which said every pub in Fylde has to have a bouncer. So all these bouncers were sitting around doing nothing to do because everyone in St Anne's is so well behaved and everything's quiet, you know. There were some more speakers yesterday that were interesting. Vitaly Safarov is a guy who was originally from Georgia and lived in Kazakhstan and other places in that area. Then he went to Israel. Now he's living in London, and he's an alien contactee, a bit like the ones Mary Rodwell talks about. You know, he sees beings in his bedroom. There's lots of. He sits down. He writes lots and lots of writing in strange script. It's not a script for any human language, and he fills pages and pages with this, and he doesn't really know why. So he's one of these kind of contactees. He's a very interesting guy. You know, he had lots of kind of son et lumiere sort of videos with his performance. That was very, very good. Ross Hemsworth. Now, Ross Hemsworth's a great guy, and I've known him for over a year now, and he does a brilliant radio show called Now That's Weird, and he has a website with a forum and everything else on there, and he's a paranormal investigator. He's a bit like me, really, in that sense. He did a speech talking about his various expeditions to all around the world, searching out paranormal phenomena, ghosts and UFOs and stuff like that. His radio show, you know, his TV shows he's done, you know, his debates with Chris French, you know, who I've taken the piss out of recently. If you're a regular viewer, you'll know that. So that was very interesting indeed. He had a lot of sort of he sells produce as well. You know, you can buy merchandise to do with Now That's Weird, which is very good. You know, and I do urge you to tune in when it's broadcast. Check on the website. There are no archives, so you actually have to listen to the show live. But it's often repeated a few days later. So, you know, if you miss the Friday night one, you can always catch it up the next night or something. Clint Denyer. All right, now he's a shamanic healer, medium, and remote viewer. And he did a brilliant show about human awakening, about spiritual enlightenment in the human race. And I actually managed to get an interview with Clint, which if you check the channel homepage, you'll see it there, which I'm just uploading along with this one. Very interesting guy. He showed some UFO footage that he's taken when he was on holiday in Cyprus a few years ago. He talks about dimensional shifts and things like that, you know. And so does Dolores Cannon, who's an American lady who has written books. She writes so many books. She's written 15 books. She's an elderly lady in her 80s now, and she still travels around the world lecturing. And the books to read I've read are The Convoluted Universe Part 1 and Convoluted Universe Part 2, and she's just published Convoluted Universe Part 3. And those are well worth reading. I found that her live show didn't quite match the expectations that I had after reading her books. She came out with a lot of information which is based on her encounters with various clients during hypnotherapy sessions. She's not psychic herself. She has no psychic experiences. She puts people into trances and they provide channeled information to her. She claims she has a filter which filters out all the nonsense that most channelers experience and gets straight to the truth. Well, you know, I admire her confidence, but wonder if she's being a bit overconfident. She thinks her filter's perfect. Because that I doubt very much. I think, you know, a lot of the information she gives should be looked at critically and compared with other information and not just taken as read, because some of the things she was saying didn't quite ring true. As I say, if you read her books, it's probably the best way to deal with her, is to read her books before seeing her live, because the books will give you a lot more background information. All in all, those were the speakers that we've been through. I think we've covered all that. I'll be writing a written report on her Panmo blog. Right, souvenirs. I've got some lovely souvenirs here. There's Clint Denier's. Clint Denier's audio CDs. There's 3 in that packet. Oh, and I've got that's weird. This is Ross Hemsworth's. These are CDs of Ross Hemsworth's radio shows. One with Ian Crane, another with Reverend Lionel Fanthorpe, who's a really funny guy. You know, imagine an English Robert Anton Wilson, right? That's Reverend Lionel Fanthorpe. Very, very funny, very intelligent man. So those would be fun. I would have bought more stuff, but I just don't have the money. You know, that's the problem. You see, I could spend hundreds of pounds on those stalls, and I can't, unfortunately, because I don't have time. Well, this is my bed in the hotel, and it hasn't been made. It's all messy. So what should I do with it? I'll tell you what, I will ask Paul and Shirley if I can buy this bed off them, and I'll exhibit it as a work of art at the Tate Modern Gallery, you know, like Tracy Emin did with her bed. Unmade bed of probe delegate. Sounds good, doesn't it? You come and see that, won't you? And you'll pay a lot of money to get in, I'm sure. Make me rich, eh? Thanks very much. Well, thanks for watching, and thanks for sharing this Panwo TV probe conference experience with me. And I'll be back for future conferences, so stay tuned to her Panwo TV and read the blog too for the written reports of all these conferences I go to. So, Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, stop the New World Order.